Because you believe in equality.
Yeah.
So why should the guy have to pay?
Because I feel like it's a respectful thing to do. I like that.
Why can't you be respectful to the guy?
I am being respectful to him. I'm giving him my fucking time.
He's giving you his time too.
Okay. And your point?
What a sweet feminine lady. She's so classy. She's so dignified. Modern women like this act as though their time is so incredibly valuable. Like she's doing you this huge favor by spending time with you. Why? What makes her time so valuable? What she got going on in her life that makes it so special? So many modern women think that their time is like this incredibly special, precious thing, so much more valuable than a man's. Let me ask you this. Whose time is more valuable? The man who wakes up early every day so he can hit the gym, go and hustle at his job, his side business, his startup. He grinds all day to maximum efficiency so he can achieve his goals because he has a clear vision of what he wants in the future? Or a woman who does Netflix and yoga all day? Maybe she posts a few times to Instagram. Maybe she attends a couple of online college courses. The social sciences, of course. Maybe she even has a part-time job in hospitality. In that kind of a comparison, it's obvious that the man's time is more valuable, right? Like his life is just go, go, go. He wants to achieve great things and he's putting in the hours. His time is precious, but the woman is just drifting through life. Her time isn't valuable. And yet, I guarantee when going on dates, he's still the one who has to pay for her time.
I am being respectful to him. I'm giving him my fucking time.
If you ask a woman on a first date with a man, who's doing who a favor here? Whose time is more precious, more valuable? Most modern women like this will answer mine. He is lucky that I took 2 hours out of my day to spend time with him. That's why he has to pay. So many women 100% believe this.
Why do you think men should pay for the first date?
Because that's their job.
If that's their job, then what's your job?
To get free food.
If you scratch below the surface of answers like this, what you'll discover is just blatant sexism. Most modern women just believe that at an inherent fundamental level, women are superior to men. They are a woman, they are amazing, they are special, that's why their time is more valuable than a man's. No need to justify or explain how they reach this conclusion, they're just a woman, so they're amazing. But also men are gross, lowly, disgusting creatures, so it only makes sense that the time is worth less. If you want to see this principle played out in real terms, just look at the lives of sugar babies. Sometimes the arrangement isn't even sexual, you just have men paying lots of money to spend time with women. Again, to women, this makes sense. You know, of course he has to pay to spend time with me because my time is really valuable.
Day in the life as a sugar daddy in Dubai. Took her to the top of Burj Khalifa. Did some bracelet shopping at Van Cleef and Arpels. £13,000 on this bracelet. She wanted a designer bag at Dior. £3,500, I think this was. They gave some coffee even. As if she didn't spend enough money, she wanted to also get an apartment, so she bought one for £300,000. Then we went to Nusret to get some steak. He even came to cut it for us. Then went to Topgolf to play some golf. Finished the day at private cinema.
It's become so common and widespread, this idea that a woman's time is more valuable than a man's, that we don't even question it anymore. But where did it come from? What was the origin of this belief? If you trace it back, I think that there actually was a solid grounding in biology, in that a woman's fertility window is so much smaller than a man's. After she reaches adulthood, a woman only has a limited amount of time to find a man that she can trust is going to protect and provide for her so that she can have children with him. If she leaves it past 30, then there's an increased risk of health complications, and she can only have a limited number of children. Women who start reproducing in their early 20s can have 4 or 5 children quite easily, but a woman who starts at 35 can probably only have 1 or 2 children max. Women are on the clock. They need to find a man and get it done. Men also have something of a biological pressure, but it's nothing compared to a woman's, because a man can be fertile right through his 40s, 50s, and even 60s. He doesn't have the same rush that women do that need to find a woman to settle down. Biologically speaking, he can take his time. She can't. So there you have it. In the dating market, if the purpose of a woman going out on a date is to vet men for their potential provider capacity because she needs to find a man that she can trust is going to take care of her while she has their children, then yeah, it makes sense. Her time is more valuable. If a man and a woman were sitting across from each other on a first date in a restaurant, she could look at him and she could say, look, I understand that as a man, you're not in much of a rush to have children. You could date for the next 20 years and you could still reproduce. But for me, I only have so many Saturday nights free where I can find a man. I keep on getting older. I keep getting less fertile. I can have fewer and fewer children. This is a big deal for me to give you this time. I have a fertility goal that I want to achieve. I want to create children, and I don't have as much time as you do to waste. Therefore, I think that it's only right that you pay for dinner in recognition of that. If a woman was to say that, personally, I would think, yeah, fair play. That all makes sense. But women don't say this. They don't even think it. They have completely forgotten that their claim to their time being special is linked to their limited reproductive timeline. The evidence of this are the huge numbers of modern women who don't want to have children. They just want to hook up, have one-night stands, but still absolutely expect a man to pay for all of their meals because for some reason, they still believe their time is more valuable and special.
Women are getting free meals with guys that they're not even interested in.
Oh yeah,
or have no attraction to.
When I was dating, there was probably in my group girl chat, probably a good solid 3 weeks where I didn't have to spend any money on groceries or food because I had a date and I knew that nothing was going to happen. I just knew that I was getting a free meal out of it, so I had a date lined up.
Women, let me state this as plainly as I can. If you are going on a date for the express purpose of finding a man that you can settle down with and have children with, then yes, the man should pay. Your time is more valuable. Outside of those parameters, your time is no more valuable than his. And the expectation that a man should pay for your time is self-centered, delusional, and extremely sexist. I'll give you a pass on the first date. If he asks you out and you're just accepting his invitation and he gets to choose where you go, then yeah, okay, that makes sense. He pays. But after that, if you both mutually agree that you want to continue seeing each other, then that's not a favor that you're doing him. That's a choice that you're making. And I cannot understand why you would be comfortable having a man pay for everything. You know, there already exists a term for women who exchange their time for money. They're called escorts.
I don't get you guys on this app because you're like, I want to be independent, rich, and successful, but then I also want a sugar daddy. Babe, you can do both. Okay? I'm very successful, but I'm also engaged to a rich old man. I'm not going to spend my own money when I can spend his. Ew, I'm pretty. Get it together.
Is that you? Is that what women have become? Whatever happened to the feminism that was about equality, women being empowered, women taking care of themselves? Don't you want that? Isn't there some dignity about meeting men on an equal footing and paying your own way? Again, this is not an attack on women who are dating in the traditional sense. They're just looking for a husband that they can have children with. They want him to pay for things to test out if he's going to be a good provider. That's important data. If she's pregnant or raising infants, she's not going to be able to work. She needs to know that he's going to be able to pay for her life, and it makes sense that their dating experience is something of a microcosm of what their ultimate life arrangement is going to look like. But if that's not your goal, that's not your purpose in dating, then obviously the rules are going to be different.
I don't do the boyfriends. I don't do the boyfriends.
So what you do?
The one night stands, I just said that. I don't like commitment. I don't do no motherfucking relationship.
You don't do relationship?
Nah, that shit dead for the motherfucking bird. I'm not the marrying type. I don't do marriage. One night stand.
Okay. Sure, but if you don't want children, why should he pay for you? These kind of women, they think that the time is special, but they can't actually explain why. They believe it fully, but they can't point to any particular reason, and it feels beneath them to even have to try and explain what makes them so valuable.
What do you bring to the table?
I'm not going to answer this question. This is just something that I wouldn't answer in a date. I'm not going to answer here.
Fine.
I'm not going to answer how many books I've read.
Okay.
She thinks she's special. She thinks her time is valuable, but she doesn't know why she thinks that. If you told her that the reason why her time in the dating market is valuable is because of her rapidly declining fertility window, she wouldn't believe you. Worse, she'd probably call you a sexist. Yet, isn't it self-evident that it's always been about children? We don't treat old ladies in our society with the same reverence that we treat young women because of their capacity to create children. Even relatively young women who are still in their 30s, they notice a decline in attention being paid to them by men that is directly proportionate to their diminished capacity to reproduce. A woman who has already wasted 70% of her fertility window is significantly less valuable to men. And it sucks because so many women don't realize this until it's too late.
I've always wanted to be an independent woman, and now that I'm in my 30s,
I think I see it now, and it's so weird how like glaringly obvious it becomes. And I've talked to other women in their 30s too, and they say it always happens like right around the same time.
Yep.
And you're in your 30s, and if you happen to not have kids in your 30s, and you happen to not have a husband in your 30s, all of a sudden it hits you in the face, and you just start to see all these flaws.
Women need to do some serious soul searching. You think that you're special. You think that your time is valuable. Why? Because you need to use your time to post more on Instagram, to get more followers, to get an ego boost. That's not a good use of time. No man is going to say, of course I'm happy to spend $200 on dinner, taking you out, because I understand your time is very valuable. You need to post more booty pics to your feed. Even if you're hustling in your job and you've got these big career ambitions, and any time you spend on a date is time that you could be working, making more money. I understand, subjectively speaking, your time is valuable, but it's not going to be valuable to him. Because let's be real, why should he care about all of that money? You're not going to spend that money on him. You're not going to be a provider for him, so why should he value that?
No guy's going to go to a girl and be like, oh, I need you to protect me and provide for me. No girl's going to want to do that for a man. Would any of you want to be with a man that you can't protect you? Sorry. So why the fuck, or do any of you guys want to, are any of you guys going to pay the bills for a man, realistically speaking?
No.
So, okay, if you're not going to pay the bills for a man, why the fuck should I care about how much money you can make?
Ooh, it's pragmatic.
Answer me that. Ooh. Like, if you're not going to pay the bills anyway, and you're not going to take care of me, why the fuck should I care how much money you make?
Women, your time is not inherently valuable. If you want men to pay for your time, they need to be convinced that you are spending your time on something worthwhile. And I promise you this, the overwhelming majority of men are happy to pay for everything, so long as you are making good use of your time and your time truly is valuable. We see that as a good investment, and we're happy to invest in the future mother of our children. That's a great way for us to prove ourselves worthy to you. We do that with zero resentment. But the painful irony of the whole thing is that it's the women who do not have any traditional values, who have no plans on having children, who act the most entitled to your money. They're the most unpleasant, the most demanding that a man pays for their time, even though their claim has the least legitimacy. I guess the deeper the fraud, the more volatile the surrounding emotions. But how do you know if a woman is going on a date with you for the purpose of finding a husband so she can have children? You know, you can't talk about that on the first date, or can you? Lots of men are scared to talk about those kinds of plans too early on, and I call those men cowards. They think it's better to just like play the game and pretend like it's all just carefree, and then later on they'll sneak in their lifelong monogamous ambitions. They don't want to appear too eager, and I understand that, but the real issue is that they're going about it wrong. There is a right way to talk about future plans and your desire for commitment early on in the dating process that does not scare her off or make you seem needy. I give the guide for how to achieve this in the full-length version of this video, which is available on my Patreon. I tend to put like the critical women stuff in the YouTube part, and I save more of the self-improvement, like reflection stuff for the longer parts of the video, which are available on Patreon, because that's where really dedicated members of my audience are, you know, the ones that take this stuff seriously and want to become the best versions of themselves. If that describes you, you're going to love the full-length version of this video. Come on over to Patreon to see it.